It's Cash Color Cannabis, a high level of conversation on LivehiphopDaily.tv. And this episode is brought to you actually by Cash Color Cannabis Magazine. Issue number 3 of Cash Color Cannabis Magazine is available for purchase. So if you follow us on IG, make sure you click the link in our bio. Or if you are following this show and you're watching this show go live, whether it's on Spotify, Pandora, wherever platform you stream it at, the link is going to be in the caption below. So make sure you place your order and support the home team. All right, so without further ado, I got my guest in the building. Hi, Alexis.
Hey, y'all. How you doing?
The world calls her Hollywood. I try to sneak in Alexis every once in a while.
No, you did it right. Remember, it's Alexis at the Capitol in Hollywood when we at the pop-up.
But this is a good friend of mine. I've actually known her for some time now. And, I wanted to get you on last week, but I know we had a little issues last week. But I'm great to have you on. For those who don't know, Alexis is Consulting Harris, one of the many more not I don't want to say popular, but one of the more influential lobby groups that are out and about down in the state capitol. And one of the people who are very boisterous when it comes to making sure that patients get the actual support they need for when it comes to cannabis and it comes to medical cannabis in this state. Passing some laws, making sure the right people are in office, things like that we all need to actually know about. So after 710 Day, I was like, I really gotta get it was Alexis then. I really gotta get Alexis on the show and bring Hollywood out too.
Yeah, we bought both the first, so don't worry. Alexis and Hollywood are here.
How you doing tonight though?
I am good. Today has been busy, but, because of last week's issues, I had to make sure I honored my word today. So I'm here with you, excited to answer any of the questions.
Look, I appreciate you honored your word, because even if you didn't today, especially after knowing how your day went, I would have totally got it. And shout out to my man, Coach Harris, man. Yeah. Sheesh. We was just talking a little bit about health concerns, and I'll let y'all know a little bit about me. I got to go through surgery, and I'm thinking about it every day, and I hate it. And it's not something I want to really think about. I injured myself working out. Appreciate everybody who gives me energy when you saw my workout videos. But your boy was hurt. Your boy was hurt, and I was fighting through it. And apparently, at this point, my doctor looked at me like how you looked at me when I told you what was going on, and she said, "Nah, bro, we gotta cut this out now." So I had to call my second doctor today, and we gotta settle a whole meeting. And I'm pretty sure he's gonna break the bad news to me too that it's gonna be surgery. Yeah, we're gonna do something here, and then we're gonna tie it back into your body because I ripped a muscle, and then you're gonna exactly my face, bro. I ripped a muscle and didn't know. Things you don't really pay attention to, I guess, because you feel like you're still young out in these streets.
You're Iron Man.
I wish I was Iron Man because I'd have even better insurance.
Tony Stark money.
And my arm would have been way better before. But, again, I'm going through my little medical situations, and I'm trying to make sure I stay up to date as far as with my health so I can make sure I'm here every day to bring y'all the podcast and bring y'all these amazing conversations. So like I said, I got my girl Alexis in the building. And Alexis, the first thing I do want to get into a conversation with is, for those who weren't there at the state capitol a couple of weeks ago, was 710 Day. 710 Day was an amazing event that y'all put on.
Thank you so much.
Speak to us about putting on the event, and this wasn't the first one at all.
No, it was not. So this was the 5th annual 710 Compassion Day.
Yeah.
710 stands for Oil Day, similar to, Dab Day, but we can't dab in Georgia. So, of course, we have a low THC program. And we decided to focus our education on the low THC program because that's what's available here in Georgia. So we just utilize that time to do activities. We usually do hempcrete so we can get rid of the stigma that people have about the plant. A lot of people in the Capitol think hemp or cannabis is like crack or cocaine, and in fact, it is not.
Still do too.
Right? And so we just have them put their hands in the hempcrete. We make sure there's activities like you guys make CBD lotion on the spot right there in the Capitol. I like doing things that haven't been done before. So for the very first one, we served CBD in the state Capitol. So every year I just try to come up with a new activity that we could do in the Capitol that's never been done before.
And you know what's wild? If y'all ever been to the state Capitol, where she was not too far from where Brian Kemp's actual office is. Mm-hmm. So to know all this was going on in front of a man who supports none of this. But you made it pop.
Well, it's funny because we always call it politics. Sometimes you say I'm a lobbyist, and it's funny because I am not a lobbyist. So my dad, Michael Coach Harris, he is a lobbyist, and I know other lobbyists. I just happen to be very fluid with my words, and so people always want me at the table for strategy sessions or to bring people together, and that's what I do. I like community advocacy. and I like building community partnerships, like actual partnerships on paper, so we can handle our business as a people and not just complain and say, well, these politicians didn't do their job. To your point earlier about we have all of these pop-ups, but when it's time to come to the Capitol, I don't see anybody pop up with the same people. So we just have to change that.
Yeah, I mean, and most of it is just having these kind of conversations. And actually, I feel like we need to have more of these conversations at pop-ups. You know, I know it's not the sexiest conversation to have while you're in the middle of trying to buy some weed, but it's a real conversation we got to have because another guest we're going to have on shortly is my man, Christian Wiseman, attorney Christian Wiseman. And we're going to talk about how some of these laws, how confused people are about some of these laws. Like, I hate to tell you how I had somebody, I'm sitting at my desk at my job, and there's a good handful of people in my building who know what I do. It's just, it's cool. Like, they all keep it to the low. But I had a whole person have a whole conversation with his vast knowledge of cannabis laws in this state. Boldly, openly say that cannabis is legal in Atlanta.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, there's dispensaries and all this other stuff, and people don't know. And that's what I was yo, I was sitting there. I was like, yo, can I take this tie off? You know what I'm saying? It give you some game, bro. It's
Let me
not
talk to you out back.
Please, bro, let me talk to you out back, but don't tell nobody what I do. But, yeah, we need to definitely educate people on what's actually happening here because I feel like the thing that happens in Atlanta a lot is there's and it's been like that ever since I've ever stepped foot down here. I've been coming to Atlanta for a while. But you've always had this notion that it was kind of accepted legally. You know what I mean? Like, I remember the first time I actually hit weed down here, like as far as it hit me, I was out on Ponce for a video shoot that Gucci Man did, and there was so much weed in the parking lot.
Do you remember Glenwood Day?
No.
So you weren't here for Glenwood Day?
No.
That was like early 2000s. You want to talk about weed in the parking lot and like a community like coming together. All of Glenwood Road used to be packed with all of the D-boys. It was wild to the point where they brought helicopters out for the very last one.
Damn.
Yeah.
But
they have Kirkwood Day, Ellenwood Day. It's like all these days.
And there's still this illusion that some reason, because it's accepted amongst us, that it must be legal. And I'm like, but dog, they still locking y'all up. Like, y'all know this is happening. They
throw away the key.
Yeah, they throw away the key. Like, they figuring out ways for you to slip up on this. Like, even when the Kwanzaa Hall passed on decrim law, the fact that people went outside the very next day, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the very next day and was getting arrested was wild.
I got a ticket that night. Like, so we did a 420 event at the park, the Safe Access rally. I think you were there. We did like a conversation. Nicole did like women in cannabis that day. Yes. And then we decided to go in the parking lot, and I ended up getting a ticket that night. So I'm like, I spoke about cannabis professionally all day and end up with a ticket for it for the city of Atlanta, which I was grateful versus going to jail.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, once I got there, the prosecutor tried to get me to agree to do a 12-week program. But I knew about the laws and was like, you know, I'm going to take my chance with this ticket. And I ended up paying $300. So that was like entrapment. I watched entrapment with my eyes. Like, if I did not know any better, I would have thought she was offering me a deal. Took a 12-week program for rehabilitation, which I had no interest in if I'm a low THC patient, you know, so, and paid $300. So to your point, that's why we have to have these unsexy or unattractive conversations in places where there's gray area activity going on. If you know your rights, then you'll know how to move versus saying, yeah, I got a pound of weed. That probably wouldn't be the smartest thing to say. Maybe you got a pound of hemp.
Yeah.
You know, that sounds a lot better for your safety.
You know what? It's crazy because you mentioned it, how you got to word stuff. I mentioned that one of the people who were at your event, Alexis with First Citizens Bank.
Shout out First Citizens Bank.
Shout out Alexis, man. Yeah, shout out First Citizens Bank. And let me give you all a little background before I even go into this. So last week, Stripe, who is the payment processor for the magazines and for the digital copies of the magazine, they shut me down. Like, I literally woke up on a Monday afternoon from woke up from a nap, and I get this email from Stripe, and Stripe literally told me, you have until August 15th to still collect payments. We're going to shut you down because, and I quote, we suspect that you are selling or promoting illegal drugs.
Oh, man.
Yeah, them words, them words is fighting words in my life because I'm like, prove it.
For a publication.
For a publication. And
ancillary business.
so what I had to do was I had to do a dispute, and in the middle of the dispute, and I spoke about it last week, in the middle of the dispute, I actually put my Karen hat on, and I went to social media, and I complained to high hell on Twitter and LinkedIn, and I got 35 comments on LinkedIn. People was really chiming in, giving me kind of advice on how to move about this. But at the end of the day, Stripes stood on their stance. They said, no, we went back and reviewed it, and we just decided that, yeah, what you're doing is promoting and selling illegal products. So
they decided.
They decided. Now, they didn't give me no real reason, no proof, or nothing like that. They just ran with it. Luckily for me, one of the people that was recommended to me was Alexis. Mm-hmm. And Alexis now helped me with Sound First Citizens Bank. She helped me get my second business account over there. And they actually do allow hemp businesses to operate in their shit. Yes. One of the things she made me sign was to sign a contract that said I'm not selling cannabis.
Right. and you are not. You're selling a magazine.
I'm selling compensation.
Right.
I'm almost a pimp. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm selling compensation out here. I'm not selling nothing illegal. But thank you to Alexis, and thank you for even being able to meet her at your event, because those are the type of people at your event that I feel like most people do need to be around. Like, you need to know how to bank. You need to, True Leave was there. You need to understand who are some of the big businesses coming in this city. It's bigger than, I feel like, what a lot of people feel like it is when it comes to cannabis here.
A lot of people just look at the street level of it. It's like, I got credibility, I got motion, I got money. It's like, do you have sustainability?
Oh.
Because the moment compliance comes in, you could be a criminal.
Yeah.
And we don't want to see any more of our people become criminals just because you didn't want to learn how to bank.
Yeah.
Or how to protect yourself and use words that are wise for your own outcomes versus saying, it's because I'm black. Like, yeah, you knew you was black before you started that criminal behavior, so now we need you to change your words and say, I'm a businessman.
Yeah.
You say I have a business account. That's what you just said,
yes,
right?
Yes, I have a business account.
Not I just stash underneath my mattress. I'm not against that.
Yeah.
But you just have to have options and know what they are for your outcomes. And so that's why it's important for me to even have them as a sponsor. I researched that they have $16 billion available right now until 2025 and saw no evidence of that money being spent in my community. And so, like I told you, I met Alexis' bosses out of state, and it was really easy to have a conversation with them about, hey, you guys have data points that you need to meet. We have actions that we're already doing, and we can match what you need and what we need together for a collaborative partnership. And that's why I said that's what I mostly focus on, building corporate and community collaborative relationships. We're not going to get rid of Truly. So some people are like, how can you do business with them? Well, one, I'm not really doing business with them. I have no contracts with them. But I understand that they're the largest cannabis company. I understand that they have the most dispensaries in the state of Georgia right now.
Yeah.
And I realize I'm not going to stop that. So if you're going to be in my neighborhood dealing with people I know, I'm going to show up and say, what's going on here? Yeah. What y'all got going on?
Yeah, and I hate that people would look down on that. You know, I'm people. You know what I mean? Like, I hate to speak sometimes how hard-headed I am. But when I met brother who was with Truly, Troy, yeah, when I met Troy, matter of fact, I got to text Troy. When I met Troy, my first thought was, I don't even want to sit behind him because I don't want somebody to take a picture and they'd be like, Max, so now you tied in with Truly. But no, it's not really. It's, like you say, it's bigger than that.
He's a person. He has a family. He was in the NFL.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
It's a lot of history behind him, so to just judge people at face value, that's shallow anyway.
Yeah, that's as shallow as that's how I'm feeling when I deal with Stripes and all them. So you can't really give that energy to somebody else without really knowing what the situation is, no matter how bad you think it is. 'Cause I'm watching True Leaf, the Cure Leafs of the world. They don't have good reputations out in these streets. But there's still people. No, they don't, and
there's a reason why, too.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's definitely a reason why. Matter of fact, one of the stories I wrote for this magazine was about unionization and how the Lorna, I don't want to mess up your last name, but that young lady who passed away up in Massachusetts.
Ooh.
Oh, you didn't hear about that?
No, I'll have to read it in the magazine.
Oh yeah, she was a worker, poor worker rights when it comes to these dispensary workers and people who are working in the back offices. I mean, the back, stuffing these pre-rolls and shit. Terrible work conditions for some of these folks, man.
That's terrible. I did not know this.
Yeah, yeah, definitely read. But one of the people I spoke to for that story, Mike Crawford, who runs the Young Jerks podcast up in Boston, he's been digging deep into these conversations for a while about worker rights, lack of worker safety in some of these places, and Curaleaf keeps popping up, and I feel so terrible. Like they just keep popping up. Man.
You know, the truth is in the pudding. That's why I always operate in my truth. Like I never sold anything for Consultant Harris that wasn't true.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Like I don't even sell products. There's experiences that I create, and I always try to find sponsors so I don't have to charge you all when you participate, and you meet all of these awesome people, and I'm giving out free gifts, and we're doing activities together. When have I ever charged you? You know, you have not been charged.
No.
And you're always invited to these rooms with very good resources, because if I'm winning, you're winning. And then you don't have to worry about the next person next to you because we all win it. And that's just how it should be.
Yeah. How do you feel like we can do a lot more outreach to get people who are in that gray area to come over to this side where for the longest you probably don't want to be at? You don't want to be at the state capitol. You want to be nowhere around the jail. You don't want to be around these cops. Like, but we need these kind of brothers and sisters out here as well to have their voice help amplify this whole entire conversation. What do you feel like we need to do better as activists on this level to bring more people from the gray area into this side and use their voices for what we're all trying to shoot for?
I think we all need to play our part, meaning instead of investing in booty shaking girls or painted bodies and stuff, maybe you invest in lobbying services, or you invest in the events that promote education and be a sponsor and have brand recognition, because that's handling business versus getting you out of your element where you want to be and getting you to do something that's not even what you're trying to do. So really value each other. I value that you do a podcast and have a magazine. You know, at any point, maybe I'll do a couple of things, but I like coming to your podcast. I like supporting what you do versus let me try to start a podcast. I don't need to, because I know Live Hip Hop Daily has an array of podcasts that I could support in what I'm doing.
Shout out to Live Hip Hop Daily.
Yeah, shout out. Because there's so many podcasts that they host here with different genres. So it's like, just play your part.
Yeah.
And ultimately, value other people. I know the underground is like real ego-driven.
Yeah.
And it's real male, masculine. I don't even like saying like toxic masculinity. I don't like that, but it's just like I said, every time you go to the underground, you know where I started.
Yeah.
And I have to stop being a vendor, because there's a energy people give you as a woman and as a vendor. It's like, oh no, I can't be treated like this.
It's the same way when you go. I mean, it's the same way when you go outside. Period. Like I feel that same way when we go to MJ Biz. But especially, and I'm not saying this is anything that just specifically happens in the black community. I'm never going to say that. I've been around enough cultures and enough different backgrounds to know that we all go through the same thing.
Yeah.
But when I'm dealing with the black community in general, I feel like there's this whole thing about being first that aggravates the fuck out of me. And it creates this whole ego thing. People are so bent on being, I was the first who did this, I was the first who said that. I'd much rather be the best than the first. And I feel like people who try to be the first hold on to that way too long than they need to. Yeah. And again, it builds up that whole ego thing where you don't want to even have somebody next to you because, you know, I was the first. Bro, we can't have that no more, man. At this point, we need to have more people who are just... You've seen what happened in Alabama recently.
I did.
We need to have more collaborative effort. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to have somebody swimming up real quick. Somebody got to bring a chair. Somebody got to come around the corner. Like, we all just can't.
Somebody has to swim.
We all can't be the first one in the building. Like, let's all be there together. You know what I'm saying? And beat down this wall.
You know, even if you are the first, it's like, okay, now throw down the rope so the rest of us could get to where we need to be. Not where you are, but where we need to be.
That's a fight I go through, and I hate to say it since I started this podcast. Like, that was my whole thing. Like, people would ask me even about doing the podcast, how would you feel if somebody started doing something similar to you? I say I applaud that because I would rather not just have one of me in this space. We need to have more. I want more brothers and sisters to have that mentality. Like, yeah, like I would welcome you into this space because we need more, not I'm going to block you out because I said I was the first. There's way too many firsts up in here.
Well, let's bring it full circle. Because you're the first, you have the opportunity to give them a scalable model as a mentor. And that's more important and valuable than just saying, you know, I support them. Like, yeah, you support them, but now these are steps for a scalable, successful model for business, not just for a podcast, and taking it to the next level. And I feel like that's what we've all done over the years because, like I said, I started at a vending table. Now I'm dealing with the governor, and people think I'm a lobbyist and should be a politician. You know, we did Georgia's first CLE classes. I'm not an attorney, but we were able to do that because I had the knowledge necessary to create the opportunity. Like, value me as an advocate, and I'll value you as an attorney, because you should know these laws, but since you don't, let's work together.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you know, I love the fact that you don't call yourself a lobbyist. Like, for those who don't know, what exactly is the role of a lobbyist?
They have to be the middleman of conversation between the field and the office, period.
Yeah.
You know, because if they're in the office writing laws and stuff, they don't have time to be in the field. And if these people are in the field doing the work, they don't have time to come up here and play cute with you at the Capitol. So it has to be somebody who facilitates these conversations and brings up, you know, awareness to different issues.
You know, and I hate to sound ignorant, but the only lobbying, and I, you know, again, you're not a lobbyist. Shout out to Coach. Coach is definitely a lobbyist.
Yes, registered.
I don't know too many lobbyists of our shade who are lobbying for what you're lobbying for. Like, am I mistaken? Is there more than just y'all?
So there are, but they work for firms. Like, we own our company. I own the company, first of all. And yes, Coach is a lobbyist for my company. Yeah. So that is a thing. But, you know, there's opportunity. Yeah. Like I said, everybody just has to play their part.
Play their part, man.
Play your part.
Play your part.
You had a question about something that was near and dear to you at the beginning of this month that you want to talk about.
Oh, expungement.
Yes.
Yes, I was about to get you, girl. We're here, simpatico. I'm staring at it. Expungement, yeah, because one of the things I really wanted to get into, and I wanted to get myself involved in, because I've seen it happen plenty of times. Shout to Roz, M for MM. They were one of the first groups I saw who were doing expungement clinics across the country. And I always felt like, you know, that was something that I felt like it was lacking with CashColorCannabis. Like, I don't always want to be straightforward with these conversations. Like you mentioned, I need to be more outside, giving people a good model of what this should look like and what this should be. And one of the things I should be doing is getting involved in expungement clinics and things like that, things I truly believe in. So expungement is something that's major, man. Speak to us, because you were part of one not too long ago. I wish I could have been there. Talk to us about the expungement clinics and why that's important for us to kind of know about out here.
It's so crazy because I feel like I have my feet in a lot of things that I don't understand why I'm there. Yeah. Meaning, like, God literally placed me there. Like, I have no idea about expungements and record sealings and all of these things, but then I had to bring it full circle. My brother, you know, made it on TMZ for an incident he had with the police. Where?
How long ago?
This was like 2 years ago.
Rapper brother or another brother?
He's not a rapper. He's a football player.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so he's the only black man I know in America who could basically slam a police officer, be on TMZ, and still not get shot or hit with a baton or something. So that lets me know he's covered. But I bring this up. Yeah, he's covered. Yeah, he's always been covered, all my dad's children. And so I bring this up because he is in the system right now and has been for a year and a half. And,
hey,
you know, he's been in jail for a year and a half now.
Yeah.
Not related to that specific incident. And it's just like, how long can they keep him in jail? Yeah. Like, now I need to become familiarized with a system I'm not familiar with, like prosecutors and courts of equity, suretyship, and all of these other subrogation.
Yeah,
all of these type of things. You know, so when it comes to expungement, record sealing, all of that, we decided to participate because of my brother. You know, I just want to find out more on how I can help. But ultimately, it's a long process. That's what I learned. I learned that it could be different by counties, which, you know, could be a hindrance for some people. I learned that sealing and expungement are different, and that depending on who the arresting agency is the process is different.
Sealing is just when they actually just put everything almost like in an envelope. They just kind of put your charges in this envelope. Expungement is when they wrap it up all together. Like, they just take it off your record. It no longer exists, correct?
Yeah, and supposedly they can. I saw two different things, honestly, that if they seal it, that law enforcement still may have access to it, but it wouldn't show up on a background check. And then I also saw another piece of an article that said that no, sealing means that nobody would have access to your records. So maybe that's dependent upon your county.
Yeah, exactly. You're talking about everything. Every county is different. But I do want to get involved in expungement clinics. I feel like that's something that does need to be brought to a lot more people's attention. And I feel like at least I got a platform that can help with that.
Yeah, multiple platforms. There are several, but you could even host one yourself.
I wouldn't mind hosting one, but I would have to tap somebody like you. I would, obviously. like tap somebody like yourselves, because you talk about, I don't have the time at this moment to learn all the things that you just learned in order to put this on.
Call the people to play their part.
Trust, yes.
Like you just said, there's organizations who already work on that, so that's just an opportunity for collaboration.
Yeah.
You're just creating a platform. That's what 710 Compassion Day is for me. That's what the golf tournament is. That's what 420 Safe Access Day is. When we go out to MJ Biz and go to the M for MM party all the time, that's what that is to me. You're creating a platform.
I was talking about MJ Biz a little while ago with my wife about how I had that Airbnb. I took that Airbnb that time with Coach and all them. And I said, girl, I woke up on the floor that morning. And I really realized there's like 17 people in this room. I should have just got a room. Like, but it was dope camaraderie.
It was like that breakfast. Did you miss? I think you missed the breakfast.
Did Coach cook?
There was a whole with like Hope Wiseman and Todd and everybody came to the breakfast.
Oh, I know I missed that. I
think you had to leave early. Chris Brown was there.
Chris is always there.
Isn't he? We went to this Mike Tyson party. That's for another conversation.
Chris always there, because I remember even at MJ Biz, Chris wasn't even with us. It was me and my boy E. I pulled up to the hotel. It's Chris and Redman standing next to him, and here go Chris. Hey Mecca, hey man, you gotta say what up to Red. Hey Red, this Mecca, CashColorCannabis. You need to know. But yeah, Chris everywhere. But yeah, like you say, you gotta get your feet out there. You're definitely out there and bringing these kind of opportunities. MJ Biz is another one. I feel like, it's not for everybody, but I feel like it's one of those nets that need to be cast a little bit wider in Atlanta if you're trying to get into this business. Like, we need to drag more faces out of this city and out there at least for a couple of days.
I would say yes and no in the sense that it's like so overstimulating out there. Imagine the MJ Biz experience mixed with the Gas House experience we saw here in Atlanta. That would be such a dope.
It would be. I feel like I almost saw that. Like at MJ Biz last year, I know Cookies did a event with Gumbo, and there was a right across the street from my hotel. That was lit. Like, there was people on the street. Like, it was lit. That was super dope. It wasn't nowhere on the level of what they do with the sesh, but that was amazing. What they did.
So when we went to Vegas, Chris invited us to the Zodiac party with Redman.
Okay.
So and that party was sponsored by Cookies. It was so huge. Like, all of us just sat there with our mouth open, like, we will go to jail for this in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah. I was like that in Miami for Benzinga. Like, well, actually, Benzinga got us out the paint. You can't be. We was outside the Fountain Blue. They had that lit up. And at first, I thought everything was cool. I was like, shit, the way I walked in the door, I was like, everything must be cool. Next thing you know, they got the dog sniffing. They got the... Oh, yeah, they had the dogs out. They had the cops everywhere. You had to pause for a second, man. But
everybody.
Yeah, but it was dope seeing those type of events. And, again, probably you're right. It's not for everybody. It is super... a lot, like especially MJ Biz. You talking about something that's 11 football fields long. Like,
it's a lot.
That's a lot for somebody to take in general. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I expo. So like when I say it's a lot, it's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, man. But there's a lot more we can do, and I feel like there's a lot more synergy even between me and you. Another reason why I wanted to have this episode, because I did want to let you know that I'm open. Y'all should know I'm open to do whatever y'all need me to do in a collaborative effort. I really do feel like there's been a lot of times, and I'm having an honest moment, that CashColorCannabis probably shortchanged itself when it comes to doing a lot of things out in this city that could probably attract more people. I've definitely took my foot off the gas. But I'm here for y'all.
It's okay, God's time. So yeah. I appreciate you putting that out there. We're always here for you as well. We're here for everybody. We just want to make sure that we have representation in this industry, that we are looked at as professionals, and, the cash color green. Y'all don't know about that. Look, they are like, what?
Yeah, they wasn't there in the beginning. They wasn't there in the beginning, but this is 7 years in the making. I'm starting to realize how old CashColorCannabis is. This is 7 years. Like, in all honesty, me and LivehiphopDaily are common law married. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been doing this for that long in this same space. Like, you can't divorce me at this point, my boy. Like, there's no getting rid of me.
You are here forever.
Yeah, we here forever, man. Like, what Cardi B say? Forever. Like, I'm not going nowhere, man. But there's more I can do. And I can openly admit that, especially after going through my own situations this year. Like, the magazine, putting that out is a lot. You start learning about yourself a lot as a person and a business person.
I'm proud of you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, that was a next level thing.
It was, man. I needed to. You know, I had an opportunity. Actually, I could say it. I keep him humming around. I had an opportunity last year to actually work for MJ Biz. Like, they actually interviewed me, and that's how I ended up getting to the magazine. For anybody who has any second questions, that's how I ended up getting to the magazine. They actually tried to hire me. Well, it was an opportunity to be hired. I don't say tried to. I interviewed with their whole entire staff at one point. Like, me and their whole editorial staff was on a Zoom call, just kind of going back and forth, throwing ideas around. It was cool as shit. But they ended up going a different route. Matter of fact, I don't think they hired anybody, to be honest with you. But
I hate that you said throwing ideas around.
Yeah, you already know where I'm going with this.
I'm like,
you already know. I stepped on that conference floor, and I'm like, why do I feel like one of my ideas is happening right now? Why do I feel like it's happening right now? I'm definitely giving my magazine.
That's why I said they're a collaborative partnership on paper. You heard me say that at the very beginning.
Yes, collaborative partnership on paper.
If we don't have an agreement, we have no ideas to talk about.
I feel you. I take that now because, you know, at first I was thinking, yo, y'all about to offer me a lot of money. Like, the check was big. You know what I'm saying?
And I used it on the ideas.
I ain't even gonna hold you.
No shade with it.
Yeah, I ain't even gonna hold you. But it did bloom the magazine. I learned a lot about myself over this last year just doing this. That made me realize how important Cash Color Cannabis is past the stories. Like, really, bro, you could be bringing in people for expungements. We really could be getting people elected. Like, use your platform for real. And I'm watching people like yourself who do it, and I was so taken aback again watching y'all 5 years straight do 710 day that I almost felt like, yo, I didn't belong in this room. Like, she is so, and everything y'all are doing is this large.
Oh my God.
No, serious, I'm being real. And I had a moment like, yo, what Hollywood is doing is up here, and what I'm doing is so down here that I need to figure out how to get at least in the middle, because they doing something that I feel like is God's word.
That's the only reason it gets done is because of God. You guys there's tears in my eyes saying this. You guys have no idea the stuff I go through, me specifically, to make sure these events are completed. Yeah. I don't care if only 2 people are there. I'm like, God placed it in my heart, so it has to get done. Yeah. Mind you, I didn't get paid sponsorships until Friday. 17 Compassion Day was Monday. Do you know what type of tears I was crying? Like, God, why would you place this in my heart if I couldn't get it done?
And it still needs to happen, yeah.
So, faith walking, honey. Well, and you deserve to be anywhere God tells you deserve to be. So
I appreciate those words, man. And thank you. You know, but I did feel that way. I really did. And I wanted to give you your flowers last week, but I can give them to you now.
Thank you.
Watching you on that podium in this room where I'm like, yo, people have designated seats. You know what I'm saying? And you're standing up here. I really felt this big at that moment. Like, as much as I felt like we got 300 episodes and 3 issues of this magazine and I'm that, yo, I felt like I was that small watching you speak that day.
But wait until I get you up there to speak with us. And that's a part now that you said that, it's going to be a priority of mine to include you in the programming. Because I did it for my brother. He said he felt like he didn't, my other brother.
Yeah.
You know, he's the artist. He did a...
Yeah, that's the one I'm more familiar. That's when you said Brother slams him. I'm like, the rapper?
No, not him. So remember they did the Power and Influence panel in that same room.
Yeah.
That was for a different event with D. Dawkins Hagler and all of these different people.
D. Dawkins is you talk about a voice. You know,
What are you talking about? Yeah. And then her family history and the work she's doing in Africa right now. So he felt like he didn't deserve to be up there. I'm like, get up there. And the conversation all of them had was just so dynamic. It's like, no, you deserve to be there. So we're going to make it happen.
Well, I feel like you're going to make a lot more happen, and God's hands are definitely on you and everything that you are doing. And remember that. Like, there are people like myself who sat there and stared and was in amazement because you're doing something I felt like I need to do and I can't do for some reason, and I'm impressed.
No, well, we're going to get it done together.
Yeah, well, I'm applause to you, man. So thank you for coming up here and giving us this little short educational tutorial about everything that you do and everything that we can be doing in the city to kind of push forward the things we want to see, not just in the city, but in the state overall. And just, you know, and just reminding us, not just myself, you reminding everybody who's listening to this, you have the power to do. There's something in your state, in your city, there's people there that you can touch who are also on the same page that you are. Don't be afraid to reach out. They're very nice people like yourself. Don't be afraid to reach out. There's people who's ready to help you out. And if it wasn't for me being in 710 right now, I wouldn't have had the chance to meet Alexi, and I wouldn't have the chance to be part of this whole other side of the thing where I have a banker now. You know what I'm saying?
A hemp banker.
I have a hemp banker. Like, I have another business account in Navy Federal. Shout out to them. But now I have a banker. Like, I have somebody who emails me daily. You know what I'm saying? And I think that is amazing. And I wouldn't have had that opportunity if I didn't have a chance to meet you that day.
Yes.
So thank you so much. Before we get out of here, I want you to let people know how they can contact you if they want to get involved, or if they just want to give you flowers like how I just did. How could they get in contact with you?
So you can reach me at Consulting Harris on Instagram, Facebook. You can also go to my website, which is consultingharris.com. And you can also follow me on LinkedIn at Alexis Harris. The best way to contact me is probably my email, alexis@consultingharris.com. But yeah, just follow me on Instagram. I'll follow you back.
Are you on Threads yet?
I am not.
Girl, get on Threads, man.
Look, what is Threads?
Threads is the Instagram version of Twitter.
I don't have a Twitter either, or TikTok, or I'm an old woman in these.
Oh no, you ain't missing nothing. Like my TikTok page is basically my sister and my wife sending me TikToks at this point. Like,
I'm like the Chinese communists on it. It's like, get over yourself.
And I love it too, because I got on one end my wife is sending me funny stuff, and another end my sister's sending me a bunch of, do you know what's going on in Africa posts? Yeah, so I got the best of both worlds, you know what I'm saying? But get you on Threads. Threads is the spinoff, I want to say, of Twitter. Is a lot better, a lot less porn. Like, you can get on there and just kind of, actually enjoy yourself for a second. I kid you not. Twitter is so such a wild, wild west at this point.
What about this Discord stuff? What is that?
Discord, I don't want to misspeak, but there's a couple of, actually I was part of a Discord about a year and a half ago. I had to leave it because I'm like, I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm out of here. like it's a private group, and it's almost like a private chat to me. It comes off like a private chat. It's not something I want to get involved in unless it's something direct. Like, say, like we're planning an expungement clinic, and we have a Discord that we created. All right, I'll get involved in that. I don't want to get involved in one about NFTs. I don't want to get involved in one about, I got this idea about da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You can just tell me. Like, I don't need, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to be in a group full of people and these hidden messages all day and got to go back and see what's happening.
Like, is it not a group text? I don't know.
Exactly, man. But
thank you, Mecca.
No problem. Well, Alexis is here, but also Hollywood's here, too. Harris. Shout out to Consulting Harris. Coach, I'm definitely thinking about you all night, man. And I can't wait to have you in the studio again. I love when your presence buzzes in here and just lets everybody know, Coach Harris in the building. What y'all want to eat?
Because he will feed you.
He will feed you. Alexis, thank you so much for coming through. That's CashColorCannabis, a high level of conversation. Make sure y'all support the magazine, the podcast, and Consulting Harris. We're out.